sensory percussion. It allows me to just play fluidly the way I want to play. It feels like I'm exploring like a sonic virtual space, and it's changed the way I think about putting music together.
Greg Fox is a musician who works with a technology called sensory percussion, which translates drum hits into MIDI signal that can be used to trigger electronic instruments. I'm about to go talk to him about his new album, The Gradual Progression. Basically, this sensory percussion technology has turned Greg's drum kit into something like a synthesizer, and it produces a variety of new and weird sounds that you wouldn't expect from just hitting a regular snare drum. It's allowed him to become a full-fledged band with just his kit. What was the basic kernel for the gradual progression?
I mean, the real basic kernel was just getting sensory percussion into my hands. When my friend Talakael Esparza came to my studio with one of the sensors and showed it to me, that was the kernel. What I'm doing with it is I'm using it to control instruments that I've built in Ableton. That's what's happening on this record.
You did it live a lot before anything was recorded with it, right?
I did, yeah, a fair amount. I would sit with one drum and one sensor and do shows. For a while I only had one sensor, and then eventually I had a whole drum set's worth, and then it was about what can I do with all this. So each one of these drums has one of the sensors on it, and the kick right there too, and then that's running into the audio interface over here, which is running into sensory percussion. So if I put on the learn button, then it's sort of prepared to listen. So I've highlighted the center of the snare drum, and as you can see when I hit, it lights up sort of saying that it's reading that, right? So then I'll switch over to the edge of the drum, and I'll hit the edge. So it's differentiating between the way that the head moves when you're hitting those different parts, and then it's making a MIDI assignment based on that. I can control the melody, I can control the volume, I can throw reverb on and off or delay on and off.
That has to change the way you think entirely while you're playing.
So a whole aspect of this is actually building this sort of virtual architecture for what's going to happen when you hit a drum or when you play. And the way I've tried to design that architecture is that I don't have to think a lot about it. It's built in that the kinds of gestures I'm making on the drums and the way I'm playing will create the results that sound good to me, and I don't need to spend time thinking about like exactly where on the drum I'm going to hit. In some ways for me it's just tickling the same funny bone that I've had since I was a little kid. It's this part of me that still wants to mess around with like every pedal I see, every piece of music hardware I see. That's the thing. It's just fun.